So it's all but confirmed the Eagles will be making a trade on draft night. But what does that mean? Are they moving up in round one, moving back out, or staying exactly where they are and making a trade that we may not see coming? There are so many possibilities, but today we are going to break it down a little bit more. And I'll give you 3 different scenarios where I could see the Eagles moving up to land a prized acquisition. We'll get into it all. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video. Go down below, subscribe to the channel. It is about to get spicy in a couple weeks because you know Howie Roseman, he never makes the draft dry, like he's always going to do something, come out of left field and try to make it happen. So I'm really excited, but before we get into the draft stuff, just a little roundup of news over the last couple days. So Justin Simmons once again goes on the Up and Adams show, and he reveals to Kay Adams that the Philadelphia Eagles are still on his target list. He says 3 teams he chose were the Bills, the Eagles, and the Bengals, all of whom he said it would be special to play for. I mean, this is quite obvious, right? Like, I've never seen a guy come out here and kind of like reverse tamper. Like, this guy literally is trying to beg to play for the Eagles, right? He was on the Kay Adams show, what was it, a month ago? And we talked about that as a potential free agent signing. I think this would come probably after the draft, so it doesn't count against the compensatory pick formula. But he signed for $7 million last year, had a decent season in Atlanta, still wants to play ball, a lot of familiarity with Vic Fangio. Eagles have a void at safety. They're coming off a Super Bowl win. He wants to compete and try to win one. It is the perfect match, and I do believe that it is going to happen. But do you want Justin Simmons? Do you think that would be a good move for the Eagles? I don't think there's a lot of risk. Give me your thoughts down below in the comments section. Also, Eagles have set a new top 30 visit with versatile Penn State safety Jalen Reed. John McMullen talks about this here. The Eagles will be hosting Penn State safety Jalen Reed on a top 30 visit, according to Mike Garofalo. He is also meeting with the Giants, the Lions, the Ravens, and the Jets. It's kind of hard in the pre-draft process to even know, right? Like who do they have interest in? Who do they have high grades on? We don't really get a lot of info. I think just kind of grading the draft overall is hard to begin with because there's so many rounds, so many players. And that's why I'd personally try to rely on the people that are there, that are at the combine, that are around all of these people, the league execs, the team execs, all that. But it's just hard to know, But anyway, another safety coming in and has a visit scheduled with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's get into this draft stuff because, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter pretty much confirmed the other day that the Eagles will be making some moves on draft night. Here is the quote from Adam Schefter more specifically. He says, "I don't know for who, I don't know for what, I don't know when it will happen." He told NFL on ESPN, "They will be moving and shaking as they usually do in Philadelphia." So there you go. I mean, if we needed more confirmation than we probably already had from a gut feeling, the Eagles are going to make a trade. But what does that mean? Does that mean moving up? Does that mean moving back? Is that round one later on? Well, Adam Schefter does elaborate a little bit more here. He says, that's the kind of move, a day 3 trade for a veteran, that I think we could see from the Eagles this year. I think they've got as much firepower in this draft as any team out there. When you give a Super Bowl champion 20 draft picks in the next 2 drafts to go have fun with, you become a team to watch. And again, just masterful, brilliant work from Howie Roseman. Kind of brings me back, what was it, a couple years ago when they traded a 4th round pick, got DeAndre Swift. So that's probably the kind of trade that he's alluding to. However, nobody's drafting 20 guys in the next 2 years. I think the Eagles could be gearing up to move up in the first round. And I'm going to tell you the 3 players right now that I think that the Eagles could move up for and actually make a splash trade for on draft night. If you have any thoughts or predictions, let me know down in the comments. But let's just talk about the draft a little bit, okay? Because there was a mock draft put out by Ruben Frank over on NBC Sports Philly. And I just want to run through this real quick, throw out a couple more names. Again, it's very hard to kind of grade these guys on the back end because, again, there's so many players getting drafted. There's going to be some hidden gems later on. Guys that you think are going to go in round 1, they go in the 4th round. There's guys you think are going in the 4th round, they go in the 2nd round. It's just hard to kind of project, So again, I try to rely on the expert opinions and the people that are around it. But what I will say is that the Philadelphia Eagles have to look at this and stick to their original philosophy, right? Last year, you got to put yourself in their mindset. They were coming off an absolute collapse. They needed something. They needed a spark. And while they still have positions of void right now, they're not nearly as big. You just won the Super Bowl. So 85 to 90% of me tells me that Howie Roseman is going in the trenches. That's what he always does. Even if it's not a position of need now, he likes to get out in front of it. He likes to get out in advance and draft a guy for the future. And specifically, when I look at the defensive line, right, you think about Josh Sweat leaving. You think about Milton Williams leaving. But not only those two, people forget Brandon Graham was an integral part of this team early on, and he's now retired. So you're really taking a gut to your defensive line, and Jalen Hunt was amazing. Nolan Smith was amazing, but you need more. So as of right now, I know I said on the last video that Josh Connerly is the way I'm leaning, but I'm starting to think it might be an interior defensive lineman, a guy who can come in and produce right away, or because this class is so stacked with edge rushers, if the right guy is there, I think Howie's going to manipulate the board a bit and just find a way to maneuver to the guy he wants. So who are those guys? Let's go over to the Eagles mock draft database. Here are the guys that they currently are projected to take at 32, the options, right? And I've been looking at a lot of these guys and their tape and all. They're all fantastic prospects. I think that a lot of these guys have bright futures, but there are three guys right now that I could see the Eagles trading up for. Number one is Donovan Ezeraku. We talked about him a couple days ago. This guy's explosive. The numbers are there, the production. He's a South Jersey product. He just blows you away when you watch the tape, and I think he's going to be really good at the next level. A lot of these guys have traits that will translate well to the next level, and Donovan Ezeraku right now is projected to go around that 20-25 range. I could see the Eagles moving up about 5 picks, trying to get him if he is still on the board. I like his game a lot. The other guy is Malachi Starks, who we've already talked about a lot. Just a very explosive weapon as well, versatile, could play safety, corner. I think he would fit the mold of a Vic Fangio defense, and I think he'd be a really good pro. And what do you know? Another guy coming out of Georgia, you know how he loves the Bulldogs. And the last guy is also a Georgia Bulldog, and that is Mykel Williams. But I think he might be a little bit higher, like the 10 to 15 range based on the mock drafts I've seen. Again, we don't know. Certain guys can fall 20 picks. You know, I mean, it's all a guessing game, right? And these teams know a hell of a lot more than we do. But I think that would be like the big gasp. Here's Howie Roseman again. He's trading up this far to get Mykel Williams. So that's another name to keep your eyes on. But you know who Howie Roseman is like? You ever go to the boardwalk at the beach and there's like that stupid game where you throw the ball off that little slanted wall and you got to like slide it in and the guy keeps charging you $1, $2. Yeah, keep playing. You're going to get it. And he just manipulates you and you never win. I never want to see that damn game again in my life. And these other GMs, keep in mind, probably don't want to do business with Howie Roseman. They see the success. They don't want to see the Eagles win again. They see Howie Roseman fleecing them every year in the draft and using all these picks and finding ways to generate more. They don't want to work with Howie Roseman. So keep that in mind. I think Howie's numbers are going to be blocked by some of these GMs. He keeps calling them up and he keeps making these trades look absolutely masterful. At some point, they're going to be like, nah, man, leave me alone. But anyway, if we look at a couple mock drafts here, this is from CBS Sports. The guys that I talked about, right? Mykel Williams. Let's see. Here they have him going at number 17 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Malachi Starks at 24 and Ezeraku at 27. I think those are pretty fair projections and grades. I have another one here from tankathon.com. They have Williams again at 17 to the Bengals. This one, they actually have Starks at 13. I think that'd be a high jump for him, to be honest. I think he'll go in the 20s. But Ezeraku at 29, and I hope he doesn't go to Washington, even though I think he'd fit pretty well there. So those are just a couple of the different projections and mock drafts for those players, but a lot of good guys. I mean, James Pierce, you know, and Ezeraku, Derek Harmon, like all these guys would fit well in Philadelphia. Kenneth Grant, I mean, Emin Wari. I like a lot of these prospects, and I think it's fitting well for what the Eagles' needs are right now. But just to finish it off, here is the full mock draft from Ruben Frank. He's got Josh Connerly in round 1. He's got JT Tuamalu in round 2, Gunnar Helm, a tight end in round 3. I'll tell you what, I'm starting to think the Eagles might go tight end in round 2. Look at some of the tight ends that they've had in the past. Look at even Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, and some of the other really productive picks that have worked out for this franchise in round 2. A lot of them are usually hits. I think they're going tight end in round 2 for the Dallas Goedert replacement. I hope Goedert is back. It just doesn't feel like he will be. Riley Mills, DT in round 4. Nick Nash, a wide receiver in round 5. Dylan Fairchild in round 5. Jalen Reed, Colin Oliver. So that's who Reuben Frank has the Eagles taking. Just more names to keep your eyes on. But as of right now, I think in the first 3 rounds, they're going with a edge rusher or an interior defensive lineman, or maybe both. They're going with an offensive lineman and tight end. I think those are the 3 areas that they're looking at right now. If a safety falls and he's the perfect prospect on their board, I think they could take one as well. But I think they're going to sign Justin Simmons. They're going to have Sidney Brown in the building, Keely Ringo at corner, and you have other prospects that you can work with. And maybe they draft one in day 3, but it just doesn't feel very Howie-ish right now. It just feels like he is going to go in the trenches, which has been their traditional philosophy, and it has worked out well, and I think it'll work out again. So give me your thoughts on the Eagles draft right now. We're about 2.5 weeks away. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.